everyone, I Radhika on behalf of EducoHire welcome you all. Today's our topic is 21st century teaching strategies, which is going to be a very important topic for all. Let's start this evening with a wonderful quote. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teachers demonstrate, and the great teacher inspires. Now I want to introduce EducoHire. EducoHire is a joint venture of mytrustedtutor.com and EducoPro. Educators looking to hire teachers can post online teaching job vacancies for free, easily manage teacher recruitment. I am pleased to announce that EducoHire came up with a new project, EducoTrain, where we at EducoPro believe that children and students of the 21st century need different skills and different approaches. EducoTrain will have dynamic faculties and trainers from different streams of life, from the world of education, from the world of corporate sector, from the world of YouTubers, scientists, and the young achievers. Now I want to introduce our today's speaker, Amjad sir. Dr. Amjad Razal sir is a senior education leader who has established an innovative intermediate college in the year 2018 in Kozhikode, Kerala. The vision of the college is based on the objective that NEP 2020 exclaims. He had been working as a head of education and the head of peripheral businesses for an education management company in Hyderabad that runs 300 plus schools in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. In the past years, he has conducted teacher training sessions in different states, speaking to 8,000 plus educators. He is also a writer who put his thoughts into words and published them on LinkedIn and other social media platforms regularly. It's really very great to know about you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I think I have to kickstart the session from here. And I believe, I don't have to repeat the same introduction now. Some of you must have heard it carefully. And I just want to utilize this time to just explain what I have prepared for today's session. So before I begin, so here you're saying something on your screen. So the topic of today's class or today's session is 21st century teaching strategies. So let me tell this to you in the beginning itself, that you are education expert, you are working at different schools, you go to different schools, and you must have read some of the good books which are written on education, and you must have come across some strategies, some plans, and some methods that basically you can utilize that into the schools and develop your students and also the school. So apart from that, you always like to find what new you need to learn so that you can transform your classrooms, transform your students into world-class learners. So in this session today, I'm going to give some of my insights that I have right now at this moment from my research and from my experiences that I have been observing into the education system in India. And also, please mute. Okay. So, and also, you need to also understand that some of the strategies that I'm going to explain now, or some of the things that you come to know today, so you need to implement that the same way or maybe in a better way in your schools there when you're going to visit your schools after this lockdown or whenever the school reopens. So as of now, what you see on the screen, there are three areas that I believe are the major concerns to transform in that particular institution. So the first area I believe is the learner's community, and the second area is the environment, and the third area is the parents. Okay, so here, as you can see that I have mentioned the three categories: the first category of learners, the second category of environment, and the third category of parents. So where is the teacher here? So where is the teacher here? Okay, so basically I think the teacher is a giver, the teacher who gives, okay, the education, the knowledge, the information. Okay, the teacher gives the right support to the parents, develops their children, and the teacher does a lot. So the teacher is basically, the real job of a teacher there is, the teacher is a giver. And here the learners or the parents or the environment, these three are actually the receivers. Now you may ask me, sir, environment cannot be a receiver. So I must tell you here that the teacher will utilize the environment that she creates in that particular classroom or at that particular institution to develop the learners and also the parents as well, to help support the parents as well. So in that particular sense of meaning, in that particular manner, so the learners community, the environment, and also the parents, they are the receivers. They receive from the teacher, and the teacher is actually the giver. So a few years ago, you must have heard a lot about this. Many people used to tell that the especially the teaching profession is the simplest profession, or anybody can teach. That is how the people used to tell each other, and they used to make fun of teaching. But when we are living in this 21st century, this, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the most difficult job in the world right now is teaching. Okay, because every time, every month, every year, there is a new challenge. There are new students. There is a lot to do in the classroom, and keeping all the challenges ahead in front of them. Okay, the teacher tries her best. She educates the children. She overcomes from all the problems and all that stuff, and she does a lot in the classroom or at that particular institution. So here, now when you want to transform the learners community, that is the first category according to my understanding. If you want to really try implementing the 21st century teaching strategies, or the strategies that you need to find. So the first thing, you need to understand what is the learning style. Okay, are you able to see the document that I'm showing? If you can see the document that I'm showing, please type yes. And I'm really sorry, the internet connection here at my place is very slow. I'm not in my hometown. Actually, I'm in a village 250 kilometers away from home, so still managing to take the session. Okay, good, thank you so much. And now, so what I'm telling, when you want to transform the first category, I mean the learners category, you need to understand what is their learning style, what is their learning style, and what is their motivation. What do they like the most? What motivates them? Okay, and what are their interests? What do they like to do? Maybe in the classroom, or maybe when they go back home, what do they like to do a lot at in the leisure time, or whatever, whenever they're free? And what are the skills they need to acquire? As you know, that we are living in the 21st century, and there are many skills that the students must acquire before they graduate from school. Okay, previously, or maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, especially in India, or where I studied, only the content was more important to complete. Okay, so the way the teacher used to teach, they used to complete the portions and ask the students, and the students, they were judged based on their memory power, their memory level, memory power. The best way, if the child is able to memorize anything and write the same thing in the exam, the best marks he used to get, and the highest marks, the highest score. But in the 21st century, we are judging the students based on their comprehension level, the way they understand, the way they are grasping the things. And when they are writing what they understand in the paper, we are finding and giving them the good marks they deserve. And if some children are not able to understand, we need to try to change them and help them, reinforce them to get the good marks or the better marks. Okay, so what I'm saying, in the 21st century, the learners, previously the way they were judged was totally on the memory power, and now they are being judged on the comprehension level in terms of maths or science or any other thing. Okay, and now the second category, if I talk about the environment, what is that environment? Okay, so here I want to do one thing. So I only take 30 seconds time. I want to do an act here, and I'm going to see the chat here right now. I'll be asking you to do a small act, okay, of 30 seconds or 1 minute. I'll just ask you to imagine something. What you need to be doing is, okay, you're not going to type anything. What you need to be doing is, you need to close your eyes for 30 seconds. Okay, and during those 30 seconds, I'll tell you something, and you need to, after those 30 seconds, you need to tell that what you exactly saw, okay, while imagining, in the chat. You have to use the chat. So please close your eyes, and if you have your microphones, the speakers on, or you're using the headset, you can listen to me whatever I'm telling you. So here, now, if you have already closed your eyes, just imagine you're standing in the classroom. Okay, you are there in front of the students. Okay, and if you're really closing your eyes, your eyes are closed, so please, just imagine what exactly you're seeing right there. Okay, please look at the wall that is in front of you. What do you find? Okay, please imagine that, because your student, the way the benches are arranged, the way the teacher, the way you stand in the classroom, the way the students sit in front of you, just imagine that, the wall in front of you. And now please look at the wall on your right. Okay, just imagine that you're looking at the wall on your right. Okay. And now after looking on the right side, please move to the left side. Okay. What do you see on the left side? Okay, because the classroom has four walls. Okay, all the classrooms majorly, mostly. So here when you're standing there, you are seeing the front wall, you're seeing the wall on the right, the wall on the left, and backside it's not a big deal. You have the blackboard, green board, whiteboard. It's not a problem at all. So now please open your eyes. Okay, if you have already opened your eyes, please tell me what are the things you saw, what are the things you found, okay, or you were imagining. On the right hand side I saw these many things, and in front of me these are the things, and on my left hand side these were the things. If anybody can write, type and send me in the chat, I'll move on. I'll move to the next point. Yeah, softboard, wall only, very good. I'll come to the point. Thank you for giving me that answer. Softboard on the right, students in front, cupboard in front, charts, good. Anybody else? Charts, teaching aids, good. Window on the left. Okay, please don't say the door on the right hand side now. Okay, good, fine. So now only wall, fine. Innocent faces, good, fine. Okay. So see, I'm telling you, now when you are imagining the kind of, this imagination you are seeing right now, so this is just a kind of environment there. I consider that as an environment of that particular class. Okay. If you are seeing only walls, that means there is nothing in that particular classroom for the students to see and learn or do something there. It's just walls. That's it. Okay. And if you are seeing so if you are finding so many things there, okay, like charts, you're seeing the charts, you're seeing the teaching aids, you have so many materials on the left, right, and in front. Okay, so that is a kind of environment the class teacher is creating in that particular classroom, and the same kind of environment we need to create outside of the class as well, like in that particular school, wherever the children go, because it is a place, it is an institution where the students come to learn something, to study something. Okay, so the moment they step inside the building, they are seeing all the stuff that is related to the studies. So here now, that is one kind of environment that you are setting or creating in that particular classroom. Okay, if you're saying you're seeing only the walls, that means you need to do a lot there. You need to change that. You need to improve that. Okay, and the same kind of environment that you want to create in that particular class, you, with the help of the teachers, your colleagues, when you collaborate with them, you need to bring the best kind of example or environment in that particular school or institution itself. Okay, so in short, I said what environment means, and I'm moving to parents. So from parents, normally whenever the parents are called to the parents teacher session meeting, so there you need to talk to the parent, ask them what exactly do they need from that particular child, not as a career option. Okay, like what they want to become in future, not like that, but what are the interests of their child and what exactly do they know about their child. Because sometimes parents know more about their child than the teachers, and most of the times it happens that the teachers know the students very well, the children very well, more than the parents. Okay, when compared to parents. So there are some educated parents who spend their time with their children, and they know what exactly the child's interests are, what are his what is his motivation, and what he wants to do in the coming days or coming year in the future. So these are the things when you communicate with the parent, what exactly the child needs or what do the parent need from you. And in collaborating, like while you're collaborating with that particular parent and assisting that particular child, and that is how you are supporting the parents, and the parents will love to admit their children at that particular school, and your credibility will also grow. And at the same time, what is the inspiration for the parents, and whether they are the active supporters or not, and if they are not the active supporters, what exactly you are going to transform them, change them into active supporters. So in short, I spoke about learners community, the environment, and also the parents. Now I'm showing you something in detail in order to help the first category. If you want to help the first category, learners, because when the students are there, that is why the school runs. If when there are no students, there is no school, right? Okay, so there are 5 things that I believe personally, there are 5 L's to consider when you are trying to develop the entire community. Okay, when you try to develop the students, the learners. The first thing, the learner himself, he's the core, the main person there. Okay, and the second thing is the learning environment. I'm going to explain that again. The third thing are the learning aids. We always speak about teaching aids, and the teaching aids, that's exactly what we use, okay, to help the students use them and learn. Okay, like for example, those teaching aids are also used to assist you simplify your work. Like for example, if you show some object or whatever you're teaching in the classroom, or if you're teaching about the shapes, 2D shapes or 3D shapes, you show them the objects, or you show some photo or video, something like that. That is considered as a teaching aid, and when you are using that, the students understand that very well. So now in the 21st century, from teaching aids, you need to think of the learning aids. Okay, both are quite similar, but there is a difference. Learning aids are actually with the students. Okay, the teaching aids are normally brought to the classroom, the teacher used them, and according to the content they are changed, they are made, and after that they are taken back. But the learning aids are always with the students. Like when you go to the Montessori classroom, like KG, the KG class, so there what happens normally, there normally what happens where, normally what happens, there is everything for the students to learn and practice. Okay, so the students use them, they play with them, and they learn. So we need to create the learning aids as well in the class. And the fourth point is the learning support, the learner support, where there are some students who take some time to grasp knowledge. They are not the slow learners, but according to their mental power, they take some time. So if there are some students in the classroom and you're teaching them some particular topic for in a week or 2 weeks, okay, so in 1 week maybe all the students must have understood, but the other students, if they need some time, what is a kind of approach you are going to try to help that particular category as well, like that particular student, that category of students. Okay, and the fifth important point, what I believe, is the learning assessment and feedback. Okay, if this learning assessment is not based on the kind of memory power we are seeing there, the students, they need to put what they really understand. Okay, not the by hearted answers. Now they are written on the paper, and the teacher sees them exact a photocopy, and the teacher gives them all the marks. Not like that, but the question paper should be prepared in a way that the students are able to understand the question and what is the concept, and they are writing in their own words. Okay, and some students may write in 5 sentences, and some student may write on in through 2 or 3 sentences. Okay, but the child who is writing the same thing in 2 or 3 sentences, if he is able to express that particular meaning, what he understands, so that is okay. He can be given all the 5 marks if the question is of 5 marks, right? So we don't need to expect that, or if one student or the topper of the class is writing in 5 lines or 6 lines, all the students should also write in 5 or 6 lines. Okay, so that is all about the learning and the learning assessment. And when it comes to feedback, when I was a student and in my whole school life, whatever remark I got from the school was good, excellent, or outstanding. That's the only thing I got. But imagine now there are few teachers, the 21st century educators, they're also using the same thing. Okay, this, especially this kind of remarks, are not used by the top international schools. Even if you go to America or London or any other big country, now the teachers are very specific about in what areas the child is really good in or good at, or in what areas the child needs improvement, what are his strengths and what are his weaknesses. The teachers write them, they document them, and in the parents meeting they show them to the parents, and the parents see them and understand that my child's progress is being noted, it's being documented. Okay, so for example, if I go, like I know, I'm just giving you an example. Like if I come to your school, and after the examination, if I'm giving you a if you have given a remark like good to any student, okay, and a principal calls you, and the principal asks you, what do you mean by good? Okay, and if you're not able to explain what are the areas he's really good at and what are the areas he needs to improve, okay, if you're not able to express that, that means you do not even understand the meaning of remark there. The old practice, the old methodology or the method is still being used at that in that particular classroom. So we need to change that as well. The feedback that we give, it should be constructive, the positive should be written, and where the child needs improvement, that should also be written. Okay, so apart from good, very good, keep it up, something like this, when you're writing 3 or 4 lines or something, or 2 3 lines, the children will read that again and again, and they find motivation from that as well. They see that I have to improve in this particular area. Okay, so we need to change the assessment pattern and also the feedback that we give to the students as well. And now I'm taking you to the new point here, a crucial aspect to remember. Like in the beginning I told you, the main person, okay, who transforms everything, all the 3 categories according to my understanding, is the teacher. Okay, so what the teacher does normally, the pedagogy that we try, the way we teach the students, the way we prepare for the class, it's part of pedagogy. So the pedagogy is actually a biggest tool for the teacher to transform everything that she wants. Okay. So here the basic formula that you need to remember. We talk a lot about learning style, that there are different types of learners. Okay. What is a learning style? Okay. But in the 21st century, you need to understand what is your teaching style. What is the way you teach? If I'm asking you, like all the participants here today, what is your teaching style? What is the way you teach? Okay. Okay. If you don't know what is your teaching style, I'm giving you a small screenshot over here. If you're able to see the screenshot, please tell me in the chat that you can see, like I can see that, or yes, something like that. So what you can do is, if you can go to google.com, you can just, yeah, some of you are already writing, you are a demonstrator, you interact, activity based teaching, good. Okay, you know the way you teach, good. I really appreciate your answers, thank you so much. So yeah, you are a facilitator, good, that's very good. Okay, and here I am showing you, if you really want to know what exactly your teaching style is. Okay, so what you can do is just go to google.com, just type how to find the teaching style. Okay, you may find multiple websites links. Okay, don't go to any website which has only 5 or 10 questions that give you what exactly your teaching style is, but go to those websites or attend try those quizzes where you can spend at least 15 to 20 minutes or half an hour reading the question, and there are 20, 25, 30 questions there. So when you read that, you give the answer, and in the end you get the answer that this is what your teaching style is. So when you understand, you can google that. It's very simple, just type those, like and formula you need to remember is the teaching style should be exactly, it should be matching the learning styles of. Okay, the way you teach, okay, especially students in the teach, that should match. If one student is kinesthetic students and you are using, like if you teach, you are an activity based teacher, or an educator. Okay, and there is a student in the classroom who is a kinesthetic learner, and kinesthetic students, they are very, and there is nothing for that particular child to. So your teaching style is not matching the learning style. Okay, so we need to make sure, if you if you want to identify what is your learning style, what is your learning style? Are you a kinesthetic learner, or a visual learner, or an auditory learner? Okay, what is the way you learn? So if you don't know, it's not a problem. Still you have time. Google that. Just type like this. So what I was telling you, if you want to identify your learning, what is your learning style? So the basic thing you can do is go to google.com and just type how to identify the learning styles. You will come across some good links where you can just try spend some 20 minutes time, or maybe half an hour time, give the answers honestly, and you will identify what is your the way you what is the style of your learning. Okay, so you can do that in higher classes, especially in your school, in your classroom. And when you understand that all these students are auditory learners and these students are kinesthetic learners, and that particular students, they are like visual learners, you can make a strategy, like whatever you're going to teach in the classroom, you are going to help each and every category. Okay, and I'll give you the tip. In the 21st century now, I believe, and I also read in somewhere on the internet, like 75% of the students now are basically, they like to see and process the information. Like they are the visual learners the most, since the screen time has also increased. And the students, they like to see the pictures and remember that, because when they listen something, they may remember that only for 1 or 2 days, and when they are seeing something, they can remember that for a longer period of time. So there are visual learners now. So that is why whatever you're teaching in the classroom, make sure the teaching aids or the learning aids are based on visuals where the students see them and remember. Fine. Apart from that, now I'm moving ahead here. The other important aspects that we need to see when we are talking about the learners, the environment, and the parents, it's about the objectives. Okay, you as a subject matter expert, you teach science, maths, English, and all other subjects. Okay, you are a graduate, you have a degree for that. Okay, but even though you are a graduate, you are an expert for that particular year. Whichever book you are teaching, whichever class you are teaching, you need to go through the content of the lesson once again. Okay, and when you believe that there are different categories here, one category is of visual learner, second category of kinesthetic, and the third is auditory, okay, and now you are planning how exactly am I going to teach this to those particular students, okay, and you are also reading the content and extracting the learning objectives, because when you know what these children need, that is how and that is the way you are finding out the objectives from that particular content. If some students don't know how to use simple sentences, okay, and you are making one out of that particular lesson, that with this lesson I'll also make sure the students learn how to make simple sentences, okay, the children what they need, that is what you are delivering it to them, okay, you are creating and delivering it to the students, okay. And after that, the teaching aids, we have to use maximum number of teaching aids in the classroom. Just going to the classroom with a notebook, or with little bit of preparation, schools, they go with their laptop, with their iPads, and carrying all the gadgets and all the stuff, the materials there for that particular lesson, and they explain everything to the students. And now the activity also, whatever activity we are conducting, should help the different category of learners as well. So if you ask me, sir, it is impossible, how can we do this, okay? We have got a lot of time now. The schools are going to reopen very late, so you can study, you can do research, and you can also find, you can ask experts, and you can find how exactly you are going to divide that particular content that should match the different learners in the classroom, okay. And now the interaction, the way we interact, previously or in the past years, the interaction between the students and teachers was very less. The teacher used to communicate a lot, but in the modern, like in this 21st century, communication skills have become a most crucial skill, okay. And even in the classroom also, we need to allow the students to interact with the teacher, and also interact between, like in the interaction between one student and the other student. They are talking about the content, about what the lesson is all about, they are sharing their ideas, okay, and the teacher is documenting each and everything, and the teacher is finding which group is doing the best. So interaction is also important in 21st century, okay. It develops the skill of the students. And assessment, I have spoken a little bit about assessment, the way we need to conduct the assessment, and what exactly the assessment should be, and the feedback, okay, what exactly the feedback we need to give, apart from good, very good. So you need to write 3, 4, 5, 6 lines there of that particular child. He is good in maths, but he's defining difficulty to remember simple past tenses, okay. That is one particular line for English. The second line, the child is very good in addition, but when it comes to carrying the numbers, he confuses himself, he's getting confused. That's the second line. It's a feedback, okay, about his learning, about his problem, or whatever that thing is. And that is communicated with the parent, and the parent will also find some time to help that particular child or their son to improve, okay. So now you can make a plan like this. This is just a sample, okay, this is not a finalized plan. Please do not copy the same thing the way you are seeing it. This is just a sample, okay. So in your particular class, when you say there are, like, you are going to teach content now, and you are going to make different learning objectives, the teaching aids, learning aids, and there is an activity also. All these things you are going to implement in the classroom, okay. So you can make a plan like this, okay. Name of the student, you write all the names in one place, and all these you can change. I just wrote this just for the sample here, so you can write according to your own way. Like, for example, what are the skills that you want your child to get from that particular textbook? One particular skill for a month, for example, okay. So from one textbook, there may be 10 or 12 crucial skills by the end of the year. So do you think it's possible? Can we do that? Right? From one particular subject, you are focusing on one particular skill in a month. That is, in a very simple way, you are dividing 12 skills or 10 skills in a year, okay. And you are writing that here in a sheet like this, in the boxes like this, and with the name of the student, you are writing down whether this child has acquired this skill or not, okay, after the assessment or the way you conduct the assessment, okay. And what is the other skill? Like, for example, from the curricular skill, you wrote one, like from English, the child needs to learn this, okay. Like, I'll give you the best example now. It came to my mind right now. There are so many stories in the classes, right, from third class, second class, even from class 1 also until class 8 and class 9 also, there are stories in English, okay. I'm asking you a question: why do we teach stories? What is the important objective for third class or fourth class students or fifth class students to learn stories? What is the best learning objective there? Can you tell me in the chat? Morals are not the objectives. Okay, morals are different. Value, morals, similar, similar meaning. Enhance their imagination. Okay, imagination to help children to think and imagine. Okay, vocabulary, language. Okay, anything else? Yeah, all your answers are right. I'm not asking for the best answer or something. I'm just asking an answer. Maybe that you are also right. Okay, and what I believe, I'm going to tell that after this. For reading and comprehending. Okay, for creative writing. Okay, creative writing. Here is my point. Very good. Who is this? Creative writing, who wrote this? Miss Sunita. Okay, thank you so much for coming very close to my answer. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So the best learning objective, what I believe, for a third class boy or a fourth class boy or girl is the child should be able to write his own stories, create his own stories by using the characters given or using his own imaginative characters, imagination. Okay, like it comes to creative writing only. So the child should be able to write his own stories. He's come up with his own stories or her stories. That is the best possible learning objective when we are teaching the stories. Stories are not taught, okay, just like have some fun, or there are other important skills also, like reading, like many of you said, reading comprehension, then vocabulary. There are so many other secondary skills also. But the child is spending 6-7 years reading stories from class 1 to class 6, 7 or 8. For 7 or 8 years the child is continuously learning stories. Okay, definitely there are morals, and those morals are basically to practice in life. Okay, the good morals, we have to practice that in life. The values, we have to carry in our life. Okay, those are there. But as a language, when we are teaching English language, and in English language from class 1 to class 8 there are these many stories from class 1 to class 7 or 8. So by the end of 8 years, like for example, when you ask your child of class 8, I'm giving you 3-4 characters, like the best story, like the story that I'm remembering right now, very simple story, we learned that in class 1 or 2, like the lion, rat and a hunter. Very famous story. That all that you imagine now just by hearing the 3 characters. So you're telling a student of class 7, I'm adding 2 more characters here, like the lion, the rat, the hunter, an old man and a dog. Okay, I'm adding 2 more characters here. Now write your own version of story, change the narration, change the story, and write something different. So there are 30 students there. Each and every child should be able to write that in their own way. Okay, the narration can be different. Some can be good, some can be bad, some can be very funny, some can be very creative, some can be not that up to the mark. So that is how you categorize, and you see if by reading English or learning stories for 7 or 8 years, still the child is not able to write his own story, then the learning objective in all those years has not been achieved. Do you understand? Okay, so from that subject, the curricular objectives, you are writing from that particular content in number 1 place, and then you're writing the extracurricular skills that you need to develop from the students. Okay, you're writing in the second column. Then what else do you want? Like if you want to write communication, collaboration, or you say literacy or reading improvement, whatever, whatever you want to write according to the nature of your children in the classroom. So imagine you are there in the classroom now, and you are writing according to the way what the children need in your particular classroom. So you are preparing some plan like this. This can be prepared like a weekly plan, or this can be prepared as a monthly plan also. So the same can be copied here. Like you can see, this weekly plan should be prepared based on like subject based. You can also make something like this student based and skill based. Okay, or you can make 3 in 1: subject, student and skill. 3 are all together in one sheet itself. Okay, when you have all those 3, subject, student and skill, in one sheet like this, some more rows you can add in this sheet using when you are preparing this on Microsoft Word. So for that particular month, you are tracking whether this particular child is able to achieve this skill or not. You are remembering that. You are remembering that. Okay, and you have that document with you to track the improvement of the students of the subjects, the skills from the subjects, the skill, from especially the students, what particular child, which skill he needs to acquire, and also the particular skills, extra other skills, extracurricular skills that you need to develop in the students. Okay, now in the beginning I asked you to imagine that you are there in the classroom. Okay, and in the classroom you're standing in front of students and you're imagining that there are four walls in front of, like, around you. One wall is in front of you, and what do you see? You told me that you are seeing the walls. Okay, and I asked you, what do you see on your right? You told me that you are seeing a whiteboard there, or maybe some notice board or whatever. And on the left you are seeing something else. Okay, and on your back you have black, white, green, any color board. Okay, not a problem. So now this is just an example, this is just a sample here. I just prepared this before starting the class. I was here, before, like 1 hour before I was ready for the class, I was sitting with my laptop and writing particular this category here. So here what you are seeing, if I ask you to rate your classroom, the way the classroom is, out of 5. Okay, and before I explain this to you, I'll just connect this with something that you must have experienced in life. Like, I'm connecting this with Ola and Uber. Okay, when you go somewhere, and if the driver is taking you somewhere in the city, once you get down, you give him 3 stars, 4 stars, or 5 stars, right? Rating. So here, how am I going to find the similarity here? How am I connecting these two? So imagine if you are going to travel from one place to another place, you have called an Uber driver. You booked it. The driver comes, the door opens, and what you see there, the seat, okay, is very dirty, it's stinky. The driver is unhygienic. So tell me, will you travel? Will you use that? Will you go with that car? If the seat is very dirty, there is a smell in the cab, the car, and the driver is stinky, there is so much of dust in the car itself, will you go? You will not go. Nobody will go. Okay, even if you sit there, just if you have to reach somewhere, you will just pray to God that somehow I have to reach there as soon as possible. Okay, you can't risk anything now there. Okay, fine. So now, how are these two similar? Okay, when you are traveling with Uber car, okay, you are using a car there just for your travel, like only for the traveling. Okay, your traveling experience, you just want to reach somewhere. Okay, but when you're there in the classroom, imagine now, what is your classroom, what is the kind of classroom you have there. I'm talking totally about the environment. Okay, and if there is nothing there in the classroom, students are coming there to learn something from you. Okay, they are there to learn something, they're spending them 6-7 hours there to learn something. Okay, and there is nothing there for them to look, to see, to recollect, to remember, to post. Okay, or to display their creative work or art and craft work or something like that. Okay, they will not find any encouragement or any motivation or any inspiration to learn from that particular class or learn something from you. Yeah, so they will not find any interesting stuff, or their enthusiasm, their energy level, everything will go down. They'll simply come to the classroom, they'll see all those 4 walls, and they'll go back. So now, just imagine the way you don't want to travel with a car which is very stinky and dirty. The same way in the classroom, there is nothing, because in the classroom, when the learning is happening, when it is happening, there should be something there. Okay, to look, to observe, to recollect, to remember, to revise. Okay, and to post something. Okay, if some student has scored good marks in science subject or something, or the student has done great in sports. Okay, and the child wants to put a photo there showing his achievement, let him do that. Okay, if there is nothing there in the classroom, so it's not the right place for the students to sit and learn something. When it is a learning space, when you are totally talking about a classroom as a learning space, there should be something for them to look and learn, or something, whatever they have learned, they can look and recollect that. right? And if it is not there, then it's just nothing. Yeah, encouragement is also must, right? And imagine if there are some students in your classroom, when they go to foreign trips with their parents, like some student must have gone to Dubai or America, and when he comes back, he just wants to post something like a family photo, like they visited some place or something. Allow him to do that. Not a big deal. Okay. So now I'm going to read this again here. You can see, if you say you are only finding just the walls, if you say you have to rate yourself one, yeah, I totally agree with all your points. Okay. So in point number one, like you say, the rank number one, mere walls, only walls. There is nothing there, only walls. No learning aids, no charts, no diagrams, no students' work, no space to show their creativity or art and craft work. Students are not allowed to bring something they like to spend their time with or take care of. Okay, there is nothing. They are coming with their bags. They are going back with their bags. Okay. Now, if I ask you, just imagine when you go back in time, like 20 years ago or 30 years back, when you go back in time and you want to go with the same enthusiasm and understanding that you have right now as an educator, this is how we need to teach. Imagine now you are going back in time to that particular year when you were there in the school, and you are sitting there in front of the teachers and there is nothing there. Just for an example, will you or do you want to spend your time there and start studying there with the modern mindset or the current 21st century mindset? Nobody will want. Okay, I am telling you myself about myself. I am a visual learner, totally. Okay, and if I'm there in the classroom and the teacher is continuously lecturing me, it happened with me many times, even in big seminars, big conferences, in national level conferences. They were talking so many things, and I was sleeping, and I was sleeping, literally. I'm not joking. It was not a child centric class. Yes, olden days. Okay, it was not a child centric class. It was only the teacher based class. The teacher is the main person there. Okay, so if I'm a visual learner and you are not showing anything to me to see, or some photos to just look at them and remember, I'm not going to perform well in the class, in the examination, or in acquiring skills. I will always lag behind. Okay, so that is one thing I'm telling you. And now point number two, there are a few charts. If you say you're falling in second category, okay, there are a few charts are there in the classroom, okay, to recollect the information. Charts are prepared by the students. Some students are preparing their charts. Okay, and those charts are changed once in a year. Once in a year, those charts are changed. Okay, the learning aids are from one subject. Whatever the learning aids they are finding in the classroom in terms of charts or tools or whatever, the supplementary material that the teacher uses to make learning aids. Okay, all those learning materials are, I'm going to answer all your questions later when I'm done. So I'll read your question again. Okay, thank you for asking in the middle. So if there are charts in the classroom, and those charts are changed once in a year. If that is happening in your classroom, you need to rate yourself as number two. And number three, there are charts prepared by the students, and they are likely to change once in every month. Once in every month. Once in every month. And there is space to display their creativity or art and craft. There are learning aids to recollect and the learned information, and the learning aids are from English, science, and maths, like from three selected subjects or from few subjects. Okay, when you stand in the classroom, you can find English or maths or science. That's it. Okay, if that is your classroom, then you need to give yourself number three. Number four, the students are encouraged to post their work on the notice boards, not even the notice boards that are there in the classroom, and sometimes the notice boards that are there in the outside of the class as well, like in the corridor. Okay, and they are given time to publish their work once in a month or a quarter. Like once in a month, the teacher asks them to post something on the chart or the notice board, and in the next month some other thing will be published, that will be removed, will be given back to the student, or the teacher will keep with her. Okay, so that is changed once in a quarter at least. That learning aids are of core subjects. Core subjects, I mean, if you are an IGCSE teacher, the core subjects are four, like English, math, science, and ICT. And the same is the case with IB schools as well. But if you are like in other like CBSE, or you say state board schools, like English, math, science, basically they are there, ICT, but the other subjects are also equally important. Okay, there is nothing like core and secondary subjects, additional subjects. So here, what you're finding is the core subjects. Okay, the students are encouraged, especially the information that they are putting inside the classroom and outside the classroom, they are from the core subjects only, not from all the subjects. They are asked to bring their aquariums. Like for example, I have seen this happening in many schools. Some things that the children they like to spend their time with. Some children, they must have their aquarium, at their home. Okay, they bring that to their class, they keep in the safe corner, and they water it. They see the oxygen level and they see whether the water is being changed. They feed the fish inside. Okay, that is one thing. And in one school when I visited, I saw there are some plant saplings in the class itself, where student with a sticker of his name is kept there in the class, and the student regularly waters it using the spray bottle. Okay, that student regularly waters that. So something like that, you are asking the students to bring what they like to spend this time with, especially this kind of stuff, and they are keeping that in the classroom, and they're learning, and also they are spending their time with that particular stuff as well. So they will not be always running in the classroom or fighting with the one another, but they'll be doing some other stuff as well, the thing they like to do or take care of. And yeah, the last point, the students regularly spend looking at the work on the notice board. They visit the notice board, they stand in front of it, and they see what exactly the other student must have done. They encourage, or they write the post of encouragement also for that particular boy, like good work my friend. Okay, and the classroom has enough resources and learning aids to recollect the learned lessons. Okay, they are able to share and post their work and feel encouraged. There is a lot of encouragement, that goes in the classroom by the teacher and all the other teachers, and the students feel appreciated all the time, and they like to do it again and again, and they do it every week or every day. They bring something or the other to the classroom, and they post it in the class or maybe outside of the class. The learning aids are of all the subjects, not from one particular subject or from the core subjects. They are allowed to transform the class into a creative learning space. Okay, so in 21st century, when we talk about the teaching strategies, okay, the best teachers, I believe, are the ones who also allow the students to change that into a complete creative zone. Okay, if some student is very good at arts, okay, I am going to tell you something, and you may be telling, sir, it's not possible, our management will not allow that to happen. But I'm telling you, if any child or some students who are very good at arts, okay, just ask them to draw random stuff on the walls, beautiful artwork. Okay, something or the other, and that is again painted. It's been taken care by some of the professionals also, and that looks amazing. The moment they enter in the class, they feel this is my space, this is our space. We are here to learn something, and we have created this environment. Okay, and in some schools it may also happen, like for example, if you divide the schools according to the planet, like planet 1, planet 2, or you call names to different classes as planets. Okay, so when you enter in particular class, okay, the entire design of the class, the artwork on the notice board, or the paint work that is there, is actually based on the most important thing that the students want. So that is something, when we need to change the classrooms into the very creative zones. So when we try to do this, we are actually creating a best environment in the class, and by creating the best environment in the classroom, ultimately we will be creating the best environment in the entire school. So obviously, whenever you visit or anybody visits your school, they will not be simply looking at the walls, but whenever they look at the wall, they will find some beautiful artwork or paint work or whatever. Or when they just roam around in, from one class to the other class, they stand in front of the notice board, and they'll see the beautiful and amazing outstanding art and craft work of the students, or some of the achievements that the students must have made in the classroom or maybe in the school, and that like a school level, that are the photos are also posted there with the name and the title and the achievement, so that whenever the children they move from that particular board, when they pass by, they look at the board and they feel really proud. And whenever there is parents teachers meeting, the students, they will pull their parents to that particular point, and they'll ask them to see, my photo is over here, I have made that achievement, and my school has appreciated me, and they posted my achievement here. So don't you want to do something like that in the classes as well, and achieve similar stuff? Okay, so here, if I am going to recollect whatever I explained in the beginning, from the beginning. So in 21st century, it is not mostly about teaching. We spend a lot of time about improving our teaching strategies, and previously we were thinking about how we can transform the learners also. But while developing the learners, we need to also see what is exactly our teaching style. Okay, we need to focus on ourselves as well. Okay, when we believe that this is what my teaching style is, okay, and that is matching the learner styles. Okay, now whatever activity you are preparing, the objectives you are extracting, and the kind of you say teaching aids you are carrying to the classroom, each and everything is in the parallel zone. Okay, like everything is parallel to each other. Okay, nothing goes here and there. Okay, so yeah, I am done with my little bit of explanation. I hope you have noted down some of the points. And the last question that was asked to me was from Anvesha Ghosh. So okay. What if the students are much older, as in those pursuing bachelors and masters? What should be done to motivate the students? Just putting a photo and achievement of the well-performing students work. If they are high-performing students, like if they are in, you say, like you're saying, they are in bachelors or masters, so that will be very childish. Okay, if you are posting their good work or something like that on the notice board, they will feel, ये तो छोटे बच्चों का काम है ना, मैं छोटा बच्चा थोड़ी हूँ, हम छोटे बच्चे थोड़ी हैं, we are not kids here. Okay, but you can appreciate them by giving them some kind of, some books to read, some literature books, because they are in masters, they are not in the grade 10 or grade 9, so that you can give them some novels. So you can give them some good literature books, some biographies or autobiographies. So when the good books are given, definitely it's a best gift, right? Okay, so you are appreciating their work by giving them something that they can use to develop their mindset, their change their perspectives and develop their insights. Okay, so if you are giving them some chocolates or a pen, pencils, erasers, or taking a photo with them and putting on the notice board, that will be very childish, to be honest. Okay, imagine when you are there and when you are in master's class, and you did something good, and your professor, not teacher, your professor, he is going to put your photo on the notice board showing that this is what his achievement is of that particular class. you know how do you feel? Tell me. Do you feel elated? Do you feel blessed, or you feel proud, or you feel, oh my god, ye to bahut chote bachchon ka kaam ho gaya? It's not like that. So to hire kids, because their maturity level is different, they are matured adults. Okay, they are adults, they are matured students. So you can give them something they can utilize, like from the literature or anything. Okay, anything which helps them in the long term and is a token of appreciation. Yes, exactly. Okay, because books are the good resources. Okay, so whenever they keep some good books with them that change their mindset, their perspectives, it develops their insights. Okay, they will be likely to read that book again and again. Okay, I have a book with me. I read it. That is the only book I read it for 6 times. Okay, and that is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, written by Dr. Joseph Murphy. This is a very wonderful book to change your mindset, to think positively all the time. So it is an amazing book. I have recommended that to like 15 or more than so many people, and to one of the persons who I recently recommended. He's sitting just beside me, but he's not coming into the frame. I told him about that book. He's my friend. Sorry, he's my cousin, especially. He lives here in the village. So I met him today because I'm here to attend a marriage. So that is an amazing book. Obviously, you can read it again and again. So something like that. Books, if you can give, definitely that they will keep it with them forever. And any other question? The beginning, whatever I'm going to teach you today is exactly at this point of time what I believe that I should be delivering that to you. So if I'm going to read some more books or find some good information, I'll be sharing that with the future participants or future listeners. So that always happens with everybody. It's not just the case with me. Yes, do you think the teaching tools can be source of detraction? No. It depends on the teacher, how exactly the teacher is giving them to utilize it. You are giving them and you're not monitoring it, then definitely the students will misuse it. But when that is being taken care by you, you're monitoring it. Okay, then they will not misuse it. For example, I'll give you one best example here. 4 years ago, I was in Kerala and I was attending a teacher training session or something like this, specially conducted by Apple company. Okay, and they gave us all the gadgets, iPads, just to have that, but for that particular session, and they were showing us how we can use the iPads, especially when we are teaching the students. Okay, some of the schools in Singapore and Malaysia, they implemented that all the students, they were having their iPads with them. So they showed us what is the way. So the teacher, when she is using her iPad, okay, there is a facility where by we using that particular facility, all the iPads that are there in the class, the applications that the teacher wants to hide, everything will disappear. They cannot even find. If they search anywhere, it automatically disappears. Okay, and when the teacher from her iPad, when she's allowing that to appear now, all those applications will come back. Literally, I have seen that with my eyes. It literally vanished. For example, when you are hiding Instagram, it vanishes. You cannot find it anywhere. And whatever after that, after doing these hidings, like hiding and unhiding, if the teacher is going to show some content, okay, this is what the student should see, should look at, that will only be there on the screen. And wherever the teacher is scrolling or going up and down, the students will be able to see that only. The students cannot go against whatever the teacher is asking them to follow. So if the teacher is not able to monitor, then it is distraction. Okay, and like for example, if you don't know how to hide such applications, use if all the students are using iPad in the classroom, just an example. Okay, what may happen, the child will be using Instagram. The moment the teacher comes in front, next to him, he will switch the apps. Okay, students are very smart these days, they'll switch the app. So not only I'm not only giving one example from technology, that is just one example I gave. Whatever teaching tools or resources you're using in the classroom, it depends on the teacher, the way she's monitoring it. You give it and you don't look at it, you don't monitor it, okay, then the students will misuse it. They'll play with it, they'll throw it here and there. That should not happen. So I think there was another question just before. Do you Okay, do you think, okay, fine, that's over. How can learners as well educators keep themselves happy and relaxed in this critical situation? So now, because of the lockdown, there is a big critical condition, so situation that is going on. So I cannot give you the tips right now because everybody is in the same page. Okay, we are all in trouble. Schools are closed. We have the same pain now. We are sharing the same pain. So what I'm telling you is, especially in the school, when you see, especially when it comes to emotional management or happiness, like you're managing your happy mood there. So the way we are ready for that particular class, like for example, in the beginning, what the teachers are told, you may have so many worries and tensions and stress, but the moment when you go into the classroom, you need to be happy, you need to have a happy face, and you teach. I believe sometimes it is very difficult. Okay, it may be impossible for some teachers. They are emotionally very down, they are broken, and when they are there and standing in front of the students, it may be very impossible for them to make a happy face and teach. Okay, so those are the very rare cases. But normally, we are going there for a purpose. Okay, we are there, we have selected this profession to be teachers. Okay, so there are few things we need to change from our side as well. Okay, like for example, when you are implementing new strategies in the classroom, and the students are learning that, they are acquiring it, they are happy with you, they want you to come there to the classroom, and they want to spend their time with you, and you're also finding good time, having good time with the students. So definitely, automatically the happiness level will also grow. Okay, whenever you want to go or visit any classroom, normally if that is the class that wants you badly, and you also want to go there and teach them, so it's that is how, slowly and gradually things will change. Okay, any tips for schools in remote places, government schools? I'm telling this to Miss Sadhana. I don't believe that the schools in the city, private schools, if they are doing it, government schools cannot do. I don't believe like that. You can try. I know there are few restrictions. Okay, there is a different protocol to follow, but still you can try. Okay, slowly when you bring, the principal and the management of that government school, okay, they will also start to see that, and they will also ask other teachers to do the same thing. Okay, it is the teacher's decision how she is exactly willing to bring that change into the school, wherever the school is, if it is in a far remote village or if it is in the town. Okay, so things are same for everybody. We are not taking this session only for private teachers of private schools. It's for everybody. Everybody can implement these strategies, these things. Okay, but the only thing is, how are you going to do that? That matters a lot. Where students are not regular, I don't know what was that. Do you also do hands-on interactive teachers workshop as well? Yes, I do that. But today, this is my first session with Educo Haya. That is why I have been asked to take a session on this particular topic. I selected this topic. So in the coming days, definitely, we will be having some other activities as well. Okay. Yeah. So the controlling power depends on the teacher. Yes, that's what I meant. Connecting with kids, very important, obviously. Would the students creating their own lesson plans do good, wherein the learners are in charge of the learning? I think, what is this question? I did not get your question. Would the students, or if it is the students or the teachers? Would the students creating their own lesson plan? Students are not creating the lesson plans, right? The teachers do that. If you mean to ask, the learners are in charge of the learning, then it is absolutely right. Then it is absolutely right. If the learners are made in charge of their learning, that is what in the 21st century is happening. So that in that particular sense, it is right. But the first part of your question, the students creating the lesson plans, it's not the right thing. I think now, as of now, it's not happening anywhere. Teaching learning doesn't stop. Only execution differs, obviously. But frankly, there are many effective and interactive teaching tools, but they don't give remote control to teachers to monitor the students' activities while they are using the application, leading to their brain being diverted for a while. It happens, actually, when this lockdown was announced, no teacher, had this experience, like regular experience, I mean, of conducting sessions on Zoom, okay, and teaching the students using all the facilities here. If this was done 2 years ago or 3 years ago and we had this habit, so we must have come across some good tools and how to block the students and how to allow them. So we must be having all that stuff. Best example is a global teacher and what we know, Mr. Desle sir. Who is he? Many rural schools have upgraded themselves with technology. Yes, many rural schools, they have upgraded now. That it's a lot of change has come even in the rural schools as well also. Feedback link. Which feedback, ma'am? Teachers in Zilla Parishad schools are using more interesting and interactive teaching learning aids compared to urban schools. Obviously, even I visited some schools in the rural areas and also in Zilla Parishad schools also. There are teachers now who are doing an amazing work. Okay, thank you so much. I think I have done my part. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was good. It was great experience for me, and I would love to see you again in the coming sessions if it is possible. And I'll be coming up with some good content and good hands-on experience or some activities for you to do while I'm taking the session. So if that is possible, it will be very good, so that you will do something and you also learn at the same time. So, and I also thank Educo Haya for having me today, and I'm thankful to Rishabh Kumar. He actually asked me on LinkedIn to have a session for the teachers here,